we hope that you watched the video of last time, and just would love to hear what the experience was like to watch it. Was it different than your memory of what happened? If by chance you didn't get to watch it, just let yourself think back on our discussion and meeting everybody newly, for this new group. Gathering the ingredients for this us. What stuck out for you? What touched you? What concerned you? What themes did you notice? And we're just going to take from there. And all of the learning and teaching will come from the felt sense of what we're experiencing together. Notice in this pause the importance of the pause and how we feel with the pause. Sometimes it can feel like, oh, is it an anxious pause, or what kind of pause is it, and who will speak and should I speak? There's a little bit of a risk in allowing the pause. And then there's a little bit of a risk in the first person who speaks. Almost like if you're the first person, you have to know what you want to say. But that isn't necessarily true, right? You can have a sense that you want to say something, and it will come, as Jenlin always said, right? It has to come. We can't have it all made for us already.
So I'll be first. I found watching the video was a lot easier than being here. And I remember times that I was anxious. I was not anxious watching it. And I was surprised because to see the same thing without the anxiety present.
As I watched the video, I was surprised how much I was not getting at the real time. My listening ability, I found out, is so low. And so much was new to me when I watched video, and it was very helpful in that sense. But that made me think that because my verbal listening is bad, I watch carefully the nonverbal signs. And those are the signs that give me safety or not safety feeling. And that to me was very interesting, the tone of the voice, the posture, and the way the face. Those are the things that helping me understand.
I had similar reactions to Jim and Masumi, that I was very amazed at how much I experienced or was aware of in the watching of the video, particularly expressions. I saw so much in people's faces that I missed. And I had the feeling it was that I'm always a little uptight when I am with people, actually.
Left, after our, last meeting with a lot of anxiety. It just brought up a lot of anxiety on me. Where are we going with this? What is the structure? Who's going to be the leader? How are we going to be safe in the group? So I was just really, I mean, I was really anxious about it. And so it stayed with me for, several days. Um, and so there was a lot of layers, fear that, if there isn't a structure, and then people's anger, you know, um, our people would be aware enough of catching the anger and not being directed in some ways in the group that it will make it unsafe. I was, Lynn said she wasn't going to be, I guess, reflecting back, taking this role, and then I felt disappointed. But and I did focusing with Clara, and it was interesting. I was taken back to an earlier um, um, age, when maybe like 8, 9, and feeling this anxiety around my mother and my siblings. There was 5 of us, and then my dad was absent emotionally, and then my mom was left with 5 children, and then I guess this anxiety, I could relate to this anxiety of, so what's my role? What do I do now? Who's in charge? I want to help. I want to rescue. I wanted to take care of others. So this assurance, where is my place in this? So it was actually great to be able to focus and come to this place, and then I felt more hopeful.
How penetrating this work is and how it can bring us somehow to layers of ourselves, and give us some movement forward. So I really felt so touched as you talked about that. Thank you.
I'm certainly, Roberto, not abandoning ship. I'm very here, and I will definitely pick up on things and reflect. Just sharing that, the joy of that with everybody else.
I know, Lynn. I know.
Offer a bit of reflection, and Roberto, you can let me know if something doesn't seem to quite fit. I heard that you felt some anxiety that lasted even beyond the meeting itself, and that there were concerns about the structure and about safety and who's going to be in charge. I then later heard after you had mentioned your feelings with your family when you were small, I heard what will my place be, and that you had a real desire to help to move things forward.
Thank you.
Yes. And I'll just say it's a very poignant and just beautiful beautiful in a poignant way to imagine you as one of 5 children, and what that must be like to have to share so much of your parents. I was one of 4 myself, but I was much, much younger. And so I didn't have that sensation of wondering where I fit. So thank you for adding that bit for us. Yes.
To this family.
I also heard, Roberto, that you were saying that focusing with Clara helped, that you could focus on all this.
The specific thing that you were anxious about is, would people pick up on anger, maybe that isn't direct or fully spoken, and would it be handled in the group? Would it be safe? safe in the way. I mean, the word safe has so many meanings and so many different meanings to each of us. But safe in the way, the very particular way, if somebody is angry underneath, will people be able to helpfully address it? Not have it go underground and not have it be destructive or exploding. Is that right, Roberto? What I'm saying there, did I get that right?
No, very much so. Yes, yes, and I don't know, just very moving to me hearing Susan and you. I mean, and BJ and just you know. But yes, I definitely yeah. I mean, you hit it on the nail. You know you're kind of addressed it. Addressed the issue. I'm thinking about Masumi and using a metaphor.
I thought of Masumi too. The nail, hitting the nail, that nail right in the center. BJ, we're back to you.
Thank you. I had been looking forward to hearing particularly John and Annette and Rosa. And then when I heard again, because I was somewhat drugged last time, so I was glad to hear more from Rosa, but disappointed not to hear the portion from John and Annette, particularly John's connection with the indigenous peoples and all the values that go along with that, focusing, Isabel, I can't remember the letters, but Shirley Turcotte's initial offerings on that, the kind of a foundational ethic that we think we understand that indigenous peoples practice, and how focusing crosses with that somehow. I find that very provocative. So just disappointed not to get to hear the folks that fell out of the video.
I didn't watch the video, and it reminds me of when I was in school. I didn't do my homework. The teacher asking, I'm feeling nervous. I didn't watch the video because I'm reluctant to see myself in a video. It feels strange to me. I don't know why. Also there's this part because of I think I can memorize things.
Say that last part again, Kate. I didn't quite get it because
I think I can memorize what happened in the meeting. So
what happened. Yeah, you remember. Yes. It's better for you to have it in your heart, remembering it, than to watch it.
Yeah. Also, there's this first reason. The first one, I don't want to see myself in a video. Maybe it feels like a different person. I don't quite recognize her.
I
That's
want to
it.
welcome Nancy.
Oh, thank you. I was having a hard time with my computer.
Thank you, Kate.
Yeah, I was very aware of your absence and I'm so glad you're here. Something relaxes now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. It's very, it resonates a lot with me, what you're saying. And yeah, I was watching myself, and I was quite at the beginning of the video. So, and I'm not so used to do that, watching myself. And I really didn't like it. And I was like, you know, my own worst critic. I could not sit still. And I just wanted to fast forward or edit myself out or something like that. And so I really, I carried that with me for a while, and then, you know, I started being with it a little bit more, and so then, you know, I started to see strands of that, like, well, what is it that I didn't like about it? Or, you know, like, oh, one thing, for instance, was I thought I talked way too long. Like I feel I totally lose track of time. And the other thing is that I felt I talked very unclearly in what I had to say, and why didn't I stop earlier and didn't start about that whole part about the man in the street who sat on top of the other man and all that, and kind of working that through. I was like, well, you know, that last part, something in me really wanted to tell that, really wanted to tell it to the group. It's almost like a little child. You can't wait to, you know, tell the story. And I didn't want to wait, you know, until my next turn or something. So I just had to kind of add that on. And so thinking about it that way, I have to laugh a little bit about myself. And the other thing that came for me was like, well, I am, it doesn't come easy for me, like talking in a very eloquent, how do you say it, eloquent way, and also to know how much and how long and how fast and how slow. And I was like, well, maybe I can ask the group to help me a little bit with that, like to tell me like, hey, well, maybe you can pause talking now, or what are you really saying, or something like that. That felt good to think about it in that way. And then like it came for me that, yeah, like safety in the group for me would then be like, how can I learn that I can learn in a group and, you know, make the next step for myself and also together with the group, and how learning can be safe, you know, because learning means taking little risks all the time, and how I can feel safe about that, to do that. That would be safety for me, learning something together with others in the group. Yeah. So
Already initiated today to reduce what I was feeling last week, which was a hierarchy between Lynn and the team and the rest of us. Maybe it's just me, but with the themes of equality and authenticity, I really appreciate her comments today to make the group a little bit more equal, so that in terms of power.
Yeah, just a thought with the poems. I think it would be great if the poems are always shared in the chat in advance of being read, because then we have the words at the same time. And maybe if we do read poems, we could request them be read really slow and have pauses at the end of each line.
you said that, I'm just reflecting back, that Lynn saying that, we would all be participating in this leadership group, and that there's Lynn and the team and everyone else, and how that hierarchy feels a little bit, you liked how Lynn said that feels a little bit more balanced. Yeah.
Exactly. I want to hear your dilemmas and your feelings, and Lynn's too, and all of the group, all of the team leaders, not just reflections on us, on me and the rest of us. I want to hear what your problems are in life and how you view them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I just wanted to say that I really felt today that we're starting from another ground of beginning, and that Abby, came forward, and some of you spoke first. And that feels, even though Lynn had mentioned that, I felt that it was all of us coming together to make that happen. It wasn't just Lynn saying it. I just want to reflect, it was a felt sense for me. And I'm wondering if you noticed that too, if you felt that. It wasn't just the words, but everybody sort of participating or leading something.
I did feel that, but I really think that Lynn took a great deal of initiative, and she set the stage for that change in tone and attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I value that.
Yeah.
I want to respond with my own dilemma. I very much want a shared experience, and leadership is everybody coming forward in their own way, everybody's voice. And I don't want my voice the loudest voice, or for people to rely on me, because this group is a group of fantastic leaders of all different kinds. But so my dilemma is, I don't want to jump in. I want to have what in psychoanalysis we call optimal restraint. But there are things I want to say, like I want to say to Kate, you are not reading, not looking at the video, and telling the group that, and making that decision for yourself was taking leadership. And that was so beautiful. He was saying, well, just like in an attunement, am I speaking too fast to me? In an attunement, you ask people to tune into what they want, not just what the leader is saying, and you did that. And I wanted to say to Yoka, I love that story, and I thought that was so important that you said that. I'd like it to be a flip in and of itself. And I wanted to say back, I lost it now. There was another little strand that I didn't want to get lost. But I want to work with how we all can take leadership, but that if you need some reflection from me or something from me, say it. And I'm, very eager to give it.
I'd like to offer a reflection to a couple of people, and at the same time, I'm aware that time stops for no one, and we would value hearing from everybody, a check-in from everybody. So just to report in, I'm a little torn about that, and I won't offer those reflections. So I know that for me anyway, it's a wonderful feeling to know that one has been heard. I'd like to offer a reflection to a couple of people. And at the same time, I'm aware that time stops for no one. And we would value hearing from everybody, a check-in from everybody. So just to report in, I'm a little torn about that. And I want to offer those reflections. So I know that for me anyway, it's a wonderful feeling to know that one has been heard. And that reflection does that. So especially you, Kate, I won't say much more, but to say, I think last week when you said, I want to make connections and I want to know how to fix connections, but I don't know how. I think you spoke at the very heart of, I know what brings me to this group and perhaps what brings others when they talk about wanting to deepen connections with others they've met before, for example. So I just want to thank you for giving voice to that. And that's all.
Just to pick up on what Lynn just offered, the field today is a lot safer than it was for me last week. And I appreciate, again, very much the tone that, Lynn, that you set. It feels that we can be a little more vulnerable here. And I like that.
I recall feeling open and apprehensive and excited and curious. And I remember leaving with those same feelings. And now, again, more grounded, but still open and curious. I think that element of safety that Marvin was referring to is absolutely more present. And with the conversation moving around that as a topic is, it's offering a feeling of groundedness and settling that's that I think very helpful. I think the interesting thing for me is that there's so little clarity in what this is and where it's going, and that's kind of it's really fun for me. I love that. I don't need to know, and I'm here and I'm just offering myself and whatever that is and receiving whatever comes in exchange for that offering. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. And I did want to just say one thing to BJ as well about my work with Indigenous people in the past. I'm not an Indigenous person. I'll offer that first. And that I'm really hesitant to speak about that work because I'm not coming from a place of being in that community presently. I can speak about my experience with that work, and it's really rich, but it's been a number of years since I've been in those communities. And this aspect of the work, I'm not in touch with Sherry Turkle's work, and focusing itself is a really new part of my experience, and it's something that I'm learning. It's a language that I'm learning, and it's a skill that I'm learning. And relating those two, I don't have enough clarity to really speak on the relation between those two yet, or I don't feel I have enough clarity to really to make those connections and expound upon them yet. And then even if I did, I'd still be hesitant without consulting the people that I had worked with in the past to make sure that I was getting it right. Yeah, I'm grateful for the recognition there, and I'm also open to have private conversations through email or through calls if I'm available. My time is fairly I'm not very time rich at the moment, but I'm happy to make time for these kinds of conversations. And yeah, again, just I'm feeling very curious and open and grounded at the moment. So
good to hear that.
John, I just want to say that I really respect the caution that you're taking about sharing experiences with people that you haven't been in touch with for a while. And I appreciate that.
I just wanted to say that John, I loved when you said that you don't know what this is about and where it's going, and I'd love us to talk about that more. What we would each say about, what is this and where is it going? I think, to me, the word that comes is emergence. And that's a deeply special word in focusing, that something comes, from the implicit. It comes from within us, and we wait for it, we welcome it. So this is a group becoming, and see what emerges from us, and how we teach each other, and how we share our wisdom, and how we bring each other out, and how we protect each other, and how we appreciate each other and recognize each other, and how we learn to have conflicts with each other and differences, and how we learn to reflect deeply, and all of that kind of thing that we are and will be learning together. Good. Yes.
Yeah, Lynn, can I just add something? I wanted to, something in me wants to really respond to John for a moment very quickly. I had a inner reaction, like something in me around your saying, you don't haven't been with those people in a while, or you don't feel you have the experience to accurately talk about or reflect. And that's something I sometimes feel with certain situations or with certain people. And I just have this very strong wanting to know, because in hearing from you, I can learn something, and maybe people who do have that background or have more of that experience will share something around what you said. And that feels really important to me. That feels like movement forward, and that we have to be brave, around some of this, which if you can hear my voice, I feel even a little shaky having this conversation, because it's so important to me and so loaded for so many people. So I just really wanted to say that to you. So thanks for listening.
I have a suggestion for us after the break. Several people mentioned safety and vulnerability. And I'd like to suggest that maybe when we come back from the break, we talk about what would it take to have a safe container for conversation among this group, never mind the community at this point, but for this group. What would it take for us to have a container of safety so that people would feel free to speak from what is deepest within them? That's just a suggestion.
Maybe when we come back, we could take right up from there and see how people feel about your suggestion. And that will be enacting, right? That sentiment of what we need to feel safe.